You've seen this a million times, right? A politician is speaking and a protester interrupts. But what if the most revealing part isn't how the politician reacts, but how the crowd does? Today we're going to dig into a viral clip of Vice President Kamala Harris, but we're looking at it through the very unique lens of the Jimmy Dore Show, which asks this really fascinating question about why we defend the leaders we've emotionally invested in.
And boom. Right out of the gate, this is the accusation that kicks the whole thing off, shouted by a protester at a public event. It's incredibly direct, it's intense, and it's what triggers this powerful reaction from everyone in the room. All right, so let's set the scene here. This all goes down at a book event for the vice president, but the source we're analyzing, they're not just focused on the interruption itself. They're looking at the raw emotion that this whole encounter just completely exposed.
And according to the source, this was way more than just a typical political heckle. They described the vice president as being, quote, visibly shaken and furious. You know, that suggests that this particular confrontation really hit a nerve in a way that maybe the usual interruptions just don't.
So, what was actually being said here? Because this wasn't just random shouting. The protester came locked and loaded with a rapid-fire list of some very, very specific charges.
This line right here, this is the emotional heart of it. It's a complete assignment of blame. But what was that blame for? Let's take a look at the actual list. Okay, here's the laundry list. The protester hits on everything: foreign policy, the 2016 election, and domestic issues, even citing a specific police shooting case. It's this really sweeping indictment, all coming from a left-wing perspective, basically accusing Harris of abandoning core progressive values.
But here's where the analysis from the Jimmy Dore Show takes a really interesting turn. For them, the confrontation itself, that's not even the main story. Their whole analysis pivots to what they see as the most revealing part of the video: the crowd's reaction.
And this becomes the big question for the show's host. They see the audience immediately turn on the protester, and they want to figure out the psychology behind that. Why would they defend the powerful politician against the one person speaking out?
And their take on it is, well, it's incredibly sharp. This quote suggests that in the host's view, the people in the audience trying to shut the protester down are actually a bigger problem than the politician being criticized in the first place.
So here's the core of their argument. They claim that the crowd's hostile reaction is proof that they don't actually care about the issues being raised. The thinking goes, if they really cared about those things, they would have supported the person speaking truth to power, no matter where it was happening.
And to explain why they think the crowd reacted this way, the host brings up this really powerful idea. They call it the investment metaphor. And honestly, it's the core of their whole analysis.
Here it is. This is the central thesis. The source is arguing the crowd's anger has nothing to do with defending policy. It's the protective fury of an investor watching their stock price get attacked on live television. The protester isn't just debating issues. They are, quote, interfering with an investment.
So what does that actually mean? Well, the idea is that we pour our time, our hope, our very identity into a political figure. And when that leader gets criticized, it doesn't feel like a political debate anymore. It feels like a personal attack on us, on our own judgment. We're not defending policy. We're protecting our own emotional portfolio.
To really hammer this point home, the source uses this really vivid real-world analogy. They compare it to the defensiveness someone might feel if a personal choice they made, like taking a certain medicine during pregnancy, is later questioned. That psychological need to believe you made the right call can be so powerful that you just shut out any information that says you might have been wrong.
So, from this one single interaction, you've got the protester, the politician, and the crowd. The source then zooms way out to make a much broader and much more sweeping conclusion about the entire American political system.
And this is their final, pretty stark takeaway. The host calls America's two-party system a two-lie system, and then declares that one of those lies, and they're implying the Democratic Party here, just isn't working anymore.
And that leaves us with the final, really provocative question that this analysis poses. If you accept their premise that the whole political structure is a two-lie system, and that one of those lies is failing, it forces you to ask, what comes next? What happens when the system, as they describe it, finally breaks down?